Before the beginning of World War II, Jewish men, women, and children set sail for the United States. They were turned away. A 1938 Gallup poll showed less than 22% of Americans were in favor of accepting Jewish refugees. It is estimated that 1/2 of those turned away were murdered in the Holocaust. After the war, the newly formed United Nations agreed not to return refugees. The U.S. eventually signed on. Honduras has the highest rate of murders per capita of any country in the world. Only 2% of all crimes are solved. Unemployment is at 50%, with 60% living below poverty levels. The 2006 CAFTA trade agreement has failed to create sustainable jobs, safety, or infrastructure. Violence against women is at an all-time high. Honduras children are trafficked from rural areas for commercial sexual exploitation and labor to urban and tourist areas. This is done by extortion and deception, as well as blatant kidnapping and murder of parents.
So for the last several months, our sister organization in Tucson has been seeing small numbers of mostly women, but sometimes fathers and their children being released at the Tucson facility. But in the last week or so, we've seen a dramatic increase where I think earlier this week, Tucson saw 50 and then 90 and then 78. And then on Tuesday, I got a call because there were 50 men, women, and children here in Phoenix that had been dropped off at Greyhound with basically with nothing. They had no provisions, no food, no water, no diapers, no formula. The children weren't fully clothed. From what I understand, they were taken into detention in Texas and then were transferred to a holding facility here in Arizona, and then are being released here on, I think, primarily on their own recognizance. Some may be released on bond, and then will be joining family members and going through proceedings, requesting asylum.
Okay. Tell me your name.
Jose Fernando Vanegas.
Jose?
Fernando Vanegas.
Where are you from?
I'm from Honduras.
Honduras.
Yes. I feel happy to be here in the United States. In Honduras, I'm mechanic for heavy equipment. Yes. There I had a mechanic shop, but there is very difficult for work because many people go open the door of your store scene, and they rob all your tools, your equipment, and when you go the next day, you see that in your store scene you don't have nothing. When you go to the policeman, it's difficult. The policeman don't help you, and it's a big problem.
So the best procedure for these families to do is exactly what they're doing so far. Going up to the port of entry, talking to the immigration agents and saying, I'm afraid of being in my country. At that point, they should be given what's called a reasonable fear interview, where an officer from the immigration has to talk to them about their fear of going back to their country. If they're found to have a reasonable fear, then they can continue on with their case and go in front of an immigration judge. We've seen a lot of these cases because there's been so many people coming to the port of entry that they're released either the day they turn themselves in or shortly thereafter. And that's a good thing. Right? People who are seeking safety, people who are fleeing from a situation of poverty, violence, from governments that are not working, should not be incarcerated. There's really no reason to lock them up and treat them like criminals. So giving them an opportunity to come into the country, giving them an opportunity to have their day in front of an immigration judge is exactly what should be happening. It's a humanitarian crisis. That's the problem that we're facing with people who are coming and approaching the port of entry. It is not people coming across and gonna infest our country with diseases. It is not a reason for the media to blow it out of proportion and invent a story where there isn't a story. The proper story is what's happening in Central America, why are people coming across, and how can we, as a nation, welcome these people into our society.
There's no community leaders out here. There's no chambers of any commerce out here or nothing. These are people helping people. And, you know, where's the Red Cross? Where's the Red Cross? Okay? But anyway, the bottom line is we're here to help these people on their way who've been displaced. There's a lot of volunteers out here, and they're from just different parts of the community. And they're just people helping people. These people are going to be on the buses going back to their destinations for 5 days with no money, no food, nothing to eat, and they've been brought out here by ICE. What do they expect them to do?
Now I'm going to Houston, and for this date, I have to be in Miami for this hour in the morning.
In Miami, Florida.
Yes, in Miami.
In Miami, Florida at 12 at 9 a.m. for your
Yes.
ICE hearing.
Yes.
Okay. They sent you to Arizona, and now you're going to Florida.
Yes.